Time to tune in, not just speaking real facts.
Sorry.
Right here is everything you need. This ain't no get rich quick thing. Create your own economy. Cause we ahead of the crypto curve. Yeah. Create your own economy. Let's get ahead of the crypto curve. Yeah. Learn from the queen of crypto, your host, Najah Roberts, leading people out of financial slavery through Bitcoin and cryptocurrency.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I don't know if you can tell, but I have a big smile on my face. It is an incredible day. So I am going to start this show by saying exactly what we say. Hello to everybody, and welcome to Ahead of the Crypto Curve, where we are creating Satoshi millionaires, one family at a time, one day at a time, one Bitcoin at a time, one Satoshi at a time. And ladies and gentlemen, that means you. I am your host, Najah Roberts, and it is my mission in life to lead my people out of financial slavery. I don't just do this show because I want to change the way you think about money, but I want to change the way you look at everything, which leads back to money. So, with that being said, today is Tuesday, February 28th, 2023, and it is a Tuesday. It is a beautiful Tuesday here. It's raining on and off, and it's just been an incredible experience. It's so beautifully green and lush. And so on this day, I want to say happy birthday to all of the cryptopians that are out there. We have Amelia Wiley, Dee Nazaire, Vivian Stewart, and Detrice Thomas. I want to say happy birthday to each and every one of you. I hope your day is absolutely incredible today. If you are a Cryptopian and you'd like to have a shout out on your birthday, please do me a favor and send me a text message to 424-317-7373. Again, 424-317-7373. And it will collect your birthday and I will give you a shout out on your birthday. Today is the very last day of Black Futures Month, Black History Month. But we are all about our folks all year long, but we just take this particular day to really, this particular month to really just bring out the cream of the crop. And so we're going to continue in this Bitcoin cryptocurrency space to actually bring out all of the cream of the crop. We're going to really dig deep into these next few months to really make sure that we are introducing you to companies, to technologies, everything that you need to know to push you further. And so my quote for the day is a simple quote. And I don't know if I should say the quote first or if I should tell you the reason why the quote came about. So I guess what I'll do is read the quote and then we'll talk about how or why this statement was just said this morning. I was talking, as I do probably daily, to another gentleman that is in this cryptocurrency space. His name is Black Regal. Some of you have heard from him before, but we were on the phone talking, and he stated exactly this verbatim. I do not want to be a part of the group in 2030 that will own nothing and like it. And I'm going to repeat that. He said, I do not want to be a part of the group in 2030 that will own nothing and like it. And the reason we were having this, or that this comment actually came out, is because we're looking on the financial side at all of the things that they're starting to take from us, and everybody is feeling as if it's okay. And not actually that it's okay, but if you're silent about things, in our opinion, it signifies that you like something and you're just willing to deal with it, right? And so when he stated this, it is really critically important that we understand this thing called self sovereignty. And we talk about it all the time. You know, some people still haven't wrapped their heads around what this looks like. And, you know, it's my goal to make sure that you are understanding all things. And as we look at some of the current events, some of the things that are happening, some things that I can't mention on KBLA because we just don't have enough time in the day. But, ladies and gentlemen, it is so critically important that we begin to make sure that we are self sovereign with our money, self sovereign with our food, self sovereign with ourselves. I'm just going to say it that way without getting too deep. And one of the reasons this conversation even came forward today is because we were talking about the Dole plant, Dole. You know, Dole, you think about pineapples and things of that sort. But their um, company was actually hacked, and there was some ransomware that went forward a couple of days ago and totally shut the Dole's plant down for North America. And that meant that they had to stop production of their salads and whatever else they sell at Dole. And so it's just a reminder of how we should be able to go out in our yard and get salad or lettuce on our own if we need to, because we should not be depending on these companies, because more and more they're going to be interrupted. And so we're starting to see this more and more. And I think some of these things are just small tests for us and awakenings for us that we need to be taking heed about. And, you know, it was really interesting to read the article. But when we come forward, we will continue the conversation about self sovereignty because it has all to do with cryptocurrency. And so when we come forward, we will get into the cryptocurrency conversation. This is KBLA Talk 1580. All right, welcome forward, welcome forward. So, we have so many things going on in this cryptocurrency space, but in the world as a whole, I am looking at the macro picture. I am saying to myself, okay, we've got our cryptocurrency play together. And we're really working on that. We've got our banking play in place. We've got some of our stocks and some of the other things that we talked about in place. And we do this because we're talking about diversification of portfolios. I have maintained that Bitcoin specifically is not the only thing you need in your portfolio. As an ex financial advisor on purpose, not providing any financial advice, you should not have all your eggs in one basket because that basket could fall and all the eggs could break and you'd be in trouble. And so we want to make sure that diversification is continuing to cross your mind at all times. And as I look at some of the things that have happened and are happening in the world right now, I say that we have some real good opportunity plays. So, yes, we have opportunities in investing, or I have opportunities in investing in Bitcoin. And I really see that there are going to be some great things that happen in that space. But I'm also listening, as I have asked all of you to do, to the macro. What things happen that actually will ultimately or eventually hit home in our communities? So, of course, you all know it's all over the news that Russia has stepped out of one of the treaties. And I think, yes, tomorrow, I'll go ahead and break down a little bit more about what that treaty is and how it's going to affect us. But what people don't really realize, aside of the fact, again, that at the beginning of this war, America told Russia to knock it out, and Russia said, nah, we're good. We'll just continue to do what we're doing. And then America said, hey, if you don't cut it out, we're going to remove our funds from you. You're not going to be able to use the world's money, which is the US dollar. And they said, I will use cryptocurrencies. You just keep that. We'll continue to do what we want to do. And again, this entire world is watching what is happening with the relationships between Russia and the United States because they understand the power that the United States has always had over the whole entire world. And so all eyes are on what's happening in Russia and around the world. But recently, Russia has taken another step towards defiance against the United States. And again, we'll probably have to take some time tomorrow to really break down what those treaties were about. No, they're not about cryptocurrency, but they definitely have to do with the mindset and some of the ethos behind what is taking place because it all ties back into us moving into a new system with a new train of thought and understanding how old and antiquated and lethargic we are in this country just based on some of the decisions that our government has made. And I know for a fact that Russia right now is one of our number one importers of uranium. And for those of you that have not thought about it or thought twice or once or whatever, there are about 23% of all the households in the United States that need uranium to actually heat homes and do. There's so many things that uranium is used for, and here in America we only have one place to get that uranium from because we were relying on uranium from Russia. And so while people are addicted to all sorts of things, America is addicted to Russia because we need their uranium. So if Russia is not wanting to sell uranium to us, and we're not wanting to buy uranium from Russia, there are going to be some opportunities, ladies and gentlemen, and they don't have anything to do with cryptocurrency. They have something to do with supply versus demand. And because there's only one place here in the United States where you can actually acquire or that can actually produce uranium, we need to really start to keep our eye on some of the opportunities that are going to present themselves. And so I tell you, I'm really big on looking at history. So I looked up that treaty that Russia has decided they're not going to abide by anymore, effective immediately a couple of days ago. And so just really looking at if this happens, then what's next? And so, as far as trading and some of the other things that we can be doing or should be looking into doing, I just want to make sure again that when opportunities present themselves, even though they may not be the new money stuff that we talk about all the time, how does it play in to where we are in this space and what our needs are going to be as a country, what our needs are going to be as a community? And so, what I will do is really break down some numbers tomorrow so we can understand this new paradigm that we're sitting in. Like we've been thrust into, I say it all the time, we're in history, ladies and gentlemen. We're sitting, and I know you always have known that we're sitting in history, but when these sorts of things happen, this is going to go down in history books forever. If anybody's even going to be reading history books down the line, they may just be listening to all audios. Like, I don't know, there's so many things happening that just make me ecstatic right now, especially for our community. And I'm really hoping that each and every one of you are understanding what is at our fingertips. We are at the beginning of actually changing a monetary system. This is just absolutely mind blowing how incredibly early we are in this space and what it actually means, because most Americans, regardless to what you know or what you think, barely even understand what cryptocurrency is, and they don't even know how to get started or what a monetary system is, and you're learning those things on a regular basis. What I do know is that most Americans right now are very optimistic about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency because they're frustrated about the current monetary system. And so there was a survey done that I looked at a couple of days ago over the weekend, and it said most Americans would like to see their monetary system change, according to this study that was conducted by a third party. And so the survey found that 80% of Americans say that the global financial system unfairly favors powerful interests. And we know that. We've known that forever. In addition, 67% said that the financial system needs a major overhaul. Interestingly, younger Americans are most likely to favor cryptocurrency and view it as a worthwhile asset, which we know. We're watching our children. You know that if you have any child over the age of 3, they're talking about Robux and all these different coins that they can actually purchase with real money inside the computer. They buy the tokens, and then those tokens allow them to build out their houses, buy cars, do all these things. So our children are understanding cryptocurrency more than anyone. And because they are our future, they're going to come up and having cryptocurrency or a coin or Bitcoin or anything like that is just going to be second nature. But with the various challenges that are presented to us adults over the last couple decades, including the 2008 financial crisis, the COVID-19 lockdowns, and this subsequent economic fallout that we're in, Surprisingly, among United States adults, the top world association with the global financial system are expensive. 34% say that it is absolutely unfair. Another 34 say that it is it's expensive. 34% say it's expensive. 30% say that the system is unfair, and the other 30% say that it's confusing. And everything that we hear is different from different people. And so it just really confuses individuals. And so I really hope that each and every one of you are starting to tune in more and more to this midday money chain so that you can continue to get this information that you need in both the old money space and the new money space, because things are absolutely changing. And so as we move into this new digital space and we start to understand the central bank digital currencies and what could actually take place, not what could, what is going to take place. We just need to know when and how those things are going to be implemented, and that's yet to be seen. We're making sure that those of us that have been living under this fiat system understand that there are now options, that there are life changing options that are being made, and we've just got to be diligent about not just learning about them, but getting off the sidelines and participating as much as we can afford to lose. And we lose money on all sorts of things. You may get a bite to eat, but you lose money every time you go to a high-end restaurant. I was just listening to my daughter and my goddaughter who went to dinner in Los Angeles last Saturday, this Saturday that just passed. And the three of them ate, and they were shocked to find that their bill was a little over $450. And I shouldn't say they were shocked. They looked at the menu, they saw how much it was going to cost, but my daughter knew that she had some Bitcoin and she knew how to maneuver some things and make sure that she could pay the bill. And she did some things right at the table to make sure that she took the Bitcoin that she had and in turn turned it into what she needed to turn it into to pay the bill at the restaurant. And that's what's happening with our younger generation. They're understanding the leverage that they have despite the downturns in the broader market and things of that sort. But it's still too much money to have paid for a dinner. But her confidence about the fact that she had an asset that she could use to actually get the bill paid in an untraditional way is just incredible. And our youth they're learning this more and more and more. And so those are some of the things that we'll continue to talk about. And I'll share with you how she did that. And she learned it, of course, because I do some of the same things. I talked about some of my flight tickets and things like that, because a lot of us fail to realize that Bitcoin is actually usable today, even though I try my best not to utilize it every day. But when I can leverage that Bitcoin and get maybe double the value that I could from a fiat dollar, I will definitely do that. But in the long run, I understand it's going to cost me, because when Bitcoin is no longer 23,000, but it's whether 230,000 or 2,300,000, I'm going to regret the fact that I bought Delta Airlines tickets with my Bitcoin. She's going to regret, in my opinion, that she spent $150 of her Bitcoin to pay off a $300 bill or $400 bill at the restaurant. And so those are the gives and takes that we have right now, because this technology is so new. But ladies and gentlemen, I have to let you know that it's working, and that Bitcoin is working, that it is usable, and the rest of our country, when they begin to figure this out, the optimism about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and the frustration that people have in the monetary system are going to wrangle them all into our space. And they're going to try to figure out more and more how to become self-sovereign, how to take advantage of this new money that can be spent, that can be used, that they can again leverage to get more bang for their buck. And that's where we are right now. And it is really a beautiful thing. In fact, when I came on today, I was a big smile on my face because I'm seeing what is really happening in our world. And I am so happy that for the first time in history, I'll say in my history, that I am ahead of something. And I haven't just heard about it because I decided to go to a couple of conferences and I got somebody beside me that may share a little bit of the information, but they don't give me the whole thing in its totality because it's kind of a secret. And really, we may not understand it anyway. That's how some folks feel. But we're right here on the cutting edge. We're understanding what's happening. So, ladies and gentlemen, when we come forward after news, traffic, and sports, we are going to jump into a couple of the cryptocurrency articles that are making headlines today. And that warning I gave you all yesterday, I was right on time. You might think I have a crystal ball, but with that, ladies and gentlemen, when we come forward, this is KBLA Talk 1580. with the market update. And so, where are we in this space? I am looking at a sea of red, which means the price has dropped. So, Bitcoin is, I'm going to say it's on sale, but not officially on sale. But right now, Bitcoin is trading at $23,163. It is down in the last hour, 0.50%. And in the last 24 hours, 0.93%. In the last 7 days, 4.68%, which means we're going to get more Satoshis today than we did last week at this time. Ethereum is at $1,611. It's down in the last hour, 0.99%. And in the last 24 hours, 0.88%. And in the last 7 days, 2.19%. And as I scroll through, ladies and gentlemen, all of them are following the leader. And I keep telling you that because I want to make sure that we hone in and understand that if you're following the leader, why not just own the leader, right? I want to own the leader, not the followers. So that's where we are right now in this space. And I'm not going to get into any of the other cryptocurrencies, but I am going to take a look at Binance USD. Binance USD. So yesterday I gave you all a warning about the fact that Coinbase was delisting the Binance USD, which was a stable coin. And I also share with you that Binance may have some fallout because of that. Coinbase may have some fallout because of that. And behold, something just happened. And I thank the listener who actually sent me the news article about the fact that Binance has or is under investigation for possibly taking customer funds and using their deposits for its own undisclosed purposes, according to a report from Forbes magazine. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is more of the mess that we see in this cryptocurrency space. And again, if you've been listening to anything that any of the Black leaders in the Bitcoin space have been telling our community, and way before FTX, we're talking about 2021 and 2022, we've been telling everyone to own your own wallets so that you can have your own private keys and all of those things. But Binance transferred $1.8 billion in stablecoin collateral to hedge funds. That's what the report states. And so a spokesperson for Binance stated that they have never invested or otherwise deployed users' assets without consent under the terms of specific products. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what I do know is that all of you, all of us, me included, when we are signing up for a website, we don't actually go through and read the disclaimers with a fine-tooth comb. So, unfortunately, it looks like those of you that were on the Binance platform clicked on that you understood terms and agreements, and those terms and agreements allow Binance to deploy your assets without your knowing to hedge funds, and they made a massive amount of money off of those hedge funds or whatever else they were doing, and they were giving you some of their proceeds. So you got to stop and think. Like from today forward, ladies and gentlemen, if someone is promising you a massive return for parking your Bitcoin, for holding your Bitcoin, for staking your Bitcoin, for whatever it is that they're doing with your Bitcoin, and you're getting these massive returns, please understand that they're getting probably 3 times, if not quadruple, what you are actually getting back. They're getting back more. And so they're doing something with it. It's not just sitting there and and just collecting from the world. They're actually taking your funds and they're doing something. And this is nothing different than what the banks have been doing. But again, the ethos of this system, this cryptocurrency culture is supposed to be cutting out the middleman. Like you should not have anybody in the middle of your money transactions. And so that is what this will ultimately be about. Bitcoin specifically being able to pull away from that old way that we do things because there's no specific owner. There is no company that you can go to. There are no customer service agents other than myself and our team and a couple of other people that are willing to talk to you about Bitcoin transactions that we have nothing to do with, but because we understand them, we'll help you understand them. But that being said, we've got to really make sure that if we're leaving Bitcoin on these platforms, if we're borrowing from these platforms, if we're giving over our private keys to these companies, that they are going to do the same thing that they've done in the past. Again, history leaves clues. And it's not just these individuals, like their families, fathers and grandfathers have done this for years. And so they're taking what they know so well and they're bringing it into the cryptocurrency space and is leaving people burned. And so we don't have to get into that space. We don't have to step into those shoes again because we can continue to be our own banks and be self sovereign in the process. And it takes a little while. And again, I'm not saying that we don't need banks because we absolutely do. We still have to pay house notes and car notes and all of those things. And there's not a lot of crypto friendly banks out there, but I guess I can share a couple of them with you. And I don't necessarily ascribe to any of them because again, they want to hold on to your Bitcoin. That's one of the big things that they're trying to do is really figure out how to get their hands on your Bitcoin. And that means they have your private keys and you don't. And so we should not be putting ourselves in those positions. But yes, so Binance is being exposed for not having customer funds or assets like they're supposed to. So just be very careful if you're on Binance because this new revelation is going to have some major backlash, specifically because of what happened with FTX and Alameda Research. And if you can recollect, Binance was actually who exposed FTX and they were looking to buy FTX or help bail FTX out. And then they backed up and said, "Oh, wait a minute, their books are not right. Something's going wrong," and that just sparked this whole thing. And now to see that this 1 billion worth of cryptocurrency known as BPEG USDC was left uncollateralized despite Binance's claim that they were 100% backed is getting ready to be a problem, ladies and gentlemen. Binance does not and has never, in their words, done anything that they shouldn't have done, but that's the same thing FTX said with their 2 or 3 employees that were running this empire and doing whatever they wanted to do with everybody's money. But that being said, that's where we are. So expect some backlash on the Binance platform. If you still have a Binance wallet or not a Binance wallet, a Binance account, you may want to take this opportunity to get your funds off Binance before there's any further backlash that could prevent you from having access to your cryptocurrency. I already have some coins that are locked on Binance, and I told you all the story before Binance turned into Binance US. It was just regular Binance, and they gave us all time to move our cryptocurrency over to Binance US. I didn't look at my emails, and then when I finally did, I just figured I'd be smarter than the average bear and leave it there and just do what I wanted to do. And it has locked me out of the account because I'm here in America and I'm not supposed to be on that platform. So just make sure that you understand all of these different nuances because you could too be losing money. And when I look at the actual account that I can't move any cryptocurrency on, I probably have now close to about $4,500 that's just sitting in an account that I can't access until I move out of the country or whatever I need to do. So it's just something, again, that's just sitting there, hoping that the price of whatever the cryptocurrencies that I purchased back in 2016, 2017 are going to be okay. And it's still going to be or have some liquidity when it's time for me to move my money or move my cryptocurrency off that exchange when I'm out of the country. So with that being stated, I just wanted to share that information. When we come forward, we are going to jump into Robinhood. Those folks that have been robbing the hood are finally under some SEC investigation. When we come forward, we'll talk about them. This is KBLA Talk 1580. All right, welcome forward. Welcome forward. So, what we are going to do is talk about Robinhood, who I have stated for the last 3 years has been robbing the hood. They face some SEC issues. Now, again, to be fair, we know that the SEC is about to attack every business that is selling cryptocurrency in any shape, form, or fashion. And so the SEC hit Robinhood with the actual subpoena regarding the company's cryptocurrency listings and custody of assets from disclosed to that were disclosed. And so there's a K9, well, it's a 10K. Let me slow down. There is a 10K filing that those of us that have companies need to file with the SEC if we are custodying people's cryptocurrency. So, as you all know, our exchange has started from day one. When we started, we did not want to custody people's funds because we did not want anybody to ever say that they took a loss based on us getting hacked or anything like that. And so we just went with the ethical thing, and that is making sure everybody had their Bitcoin from the second they decided to move it from fiat into Bitcoin. And so we only do Bitcoin because we feel Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency that is going to be left standing. But not only that, we knew that as these different rules and regulations come down the pipe, Bitcoin is going to be the only one that's unfazed by their rulings, by saying it's a security, by saying that it's all these other things that are taxable. Well, Bitcoin is taxable too. So let me just make sure we're clear. But they're going to have different types of tax rules just based on the different type of assets that they move these cryptocurrencies to in the different baskets. But this specific one called Robinhood actually lists 18 different cryptocurrencies on this trading platform, including Bitcoin. And so investors can get started with as little as $1. And it's not a bad thing at all. However, I don't like Robinhood because their fees are high, in my opinion. And also, they take advantage of individuals that don't know any better. And they weren't at one point allowing people to take their Bitcoin and put it into their own wallet. So you were buying it at the grocery store and you had to leave it at the grocery store. And then when you wanted to come and take your groceries home or your Bitcoin home, for lack of the example, they weren't allowing you to do so. But some of their companies have been allowed to now move their cryptocurrency off of their platform. But in this crackdown, this is the next company that they are going after. And so they had also gotten a letter from the California Attorney's General Office regarding its trading platform, the custody of customers' assets, and customer disclosures on coin listings. And so they've been cooperating with California's investigation, and now here comes the SEC. And so for those of you that aren't really familiar about Robinhood, I'm just going to say this: that stimulus money was not supposed to go to cryptocurrencies like it did. And so this platform called Robinhood during the pandemic had hyper growth because they had lowest interest rates. The interest rates were low back then because the pandemic was happening. Then there was a perfect storm because there came stimulus checks with a whole bunch of what people would call free money to start investing. And so our youngsters decided to jump into Robinhood. And the ease of the app, which is the customer experience, allow retail investors to buy and sell both stocks and cryptocurrencies, and it took off through the roof. And again, this was something that our government did not anticipate. Now, I've always said that that stimulus money kept our economy afloat. And it's still keeping our economy afloat because there's other monies that are being given to business owners and such, and all those funds are being used all the time. But they didn't expect Robinhood to grow in leaps and bounds like it did, but it did because of those youngsters that I'm telling you about that are used to these cryptocurrencies and these different coins and these different gaming platforms that require coins and tokens and all that stuff. So this is second nature to them. And so because of the way Robinhood was set up, they've got a lot of young African American, Latino, minority individuals that are actually trading on this platform. And so it would make sense why they're going after them, and still, again, on pause, FTX, not being prosecuted right now. Everything's on hold, but they're going after some of the other ones. And again, because it affects the regular everyday people, and it's not the big people with the big money that need to be brought to justice. But nevertheless, Robin Hood is next on the list from the SEC to crack down on. So we'll keep our eyes and ears open as to what that looks like and how that rolls out. And this is just something to see how they're going to start going after the on ramps for these different cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin. They're going to go after the on ramps. And I think if they're able to successfully scare away or shut down the on ramps, they're thinking that they can at least slow this new cryptocurrency or this wave of new currency. They can slow it down, but they definitely are not going to be able to stop it. And I'm talking about Bitcoin, not talking about these other cryptocurrencies. They're not going to be able to stop it. So when we come forward, we will continue the conversation. I'm going to share with you a couple of classes that we have coming up, a couple of events that I will be doing. I'm going to be doing an event for Dr. Heavenly. If you all don't know her, she is one of the wives on Married to Medicine, and I'm doing an event for her this weekend or this week. And you all are welcome to tune in to that. It's an event, and I'll try to get that on my Facebook and Instagram and all of those other places so you can click on and get your ticket. It's a free event, so it's absolutely incredible. So when we come forward, we'll jump into that conversation, have a fantastic few seconds. And when we come forward, we'll jump into it. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Some incredible events that are coming up in in just a couple of weeks. We've got Crypto Essentials, and we also have a Ledger and Me 123. And we need to make sure that all of us have a cold storage device. So maybe you don't like Ledger, maybe like something else, but we need to have our own wallet so that we can be self-sovereign, ladies and gentlemen. I swear to you, you sleep so much better when you're not worried about if the bank is actually going to have your money in 10 years, or if Social Security is going to really be here in 10 years. If, all of those ifs make you sleep better when you have some Bitcoin in your cold wallet are cold storage. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do our daily dollar cost average of $6, or I'm going to do mine is $6 on the Black Wall Street wallet at your leisure. If you can please go in and get whatever you would like, whatever you can afford to lose. So no guarantee that anything is going to be going up in price. But what we do know is that technology is here forever. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are making way for the D.L. Hughley Show. You all know that I am so happy that you are rocking with me here on Ahead of the Crypto Curve, where we are creating Satoshi millionaires, one family at a time, one day at a time, one Bitcoin at a time, one Satoshi at a time. And ladies and gentlemen, that means you.
Cause we ahead of the crypto curve, yeah.
Hey y'all, lights, camera, action.
Let's get ahead of the crypto curve, yeah. Learn from the queen of crypto, your host, Najah Roberts, leading people out of financial slavery through Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Create your own economy. Let's get ahead of the crypto curve. Learn to get left behind.